So there could be a plot twist, a potential plot twist in the whole Janel Grant, Vince McMahon saga. It's just not that long ago came out that Janel Grant back in December 2021 wrote a love letter to Vince McMahon, but through her lawyer, Janel Grant's lawyer, Ann Callis, she claims that she was coerced. It was reported by the Wall Street Journal in January 2024 that Janel Grant, a former WWE employee, filed a lawsuit against WWE, Vince McMahon, John Laurinaitis, in a Connecticut federal court. McMahon was accused of sex trafficking in the complaint. In an article that was published in the New York Post on April 1st, Grant was said to have written a love letter to McMahon in which she called him my best friend, my love, and my everything. And the Post published an excerpt from the letter, and I'm going to get into that, which stated the following. After almost 3 years together, it's like my life isn't real to me unless you're there and in it, and I'm sharing it all with you. However, Grant's attorney Ann Callis issued the following statement to the Post in regards to the letter. Frankly, it's pretty disgusting that Vince's weeks-late attempt to defend his horrendous behaviour he claims to this day never happened is to try and showcase letters that Vince himself coerced her to write. His psychological torture of her continues, as is typical of abusive predators who respond to women speaking out with increased threats. While Janel isn't a stranger to his intimidation tactics, this is a low even for him. McMahon's attorney Jessica Taub Rosenberg of law firm Castlewich, Bench and Torres gave a statement to the Post. This is a revisionist history. No one coerced Miss Grant to write that letter. She wrote it of her own accord. The fact that the letter shows that it was the 24th draft speaks volumes. Nowhere in her voluminous, is that the right word? Never heard that word. Voluminous complaint that is replete with fabrications does she mention being coerced into such behaviour. The language of the letter is consistent with other communications she made to Mr. McMahon over the course of their consensual relationship. So, with this here, I mean, there's a couple of things. I mean, you know, I mean, with this, you know, a love letter being written, and she's saying how great, you know, of a guy that she thinks Vince is, and the time that they spent, and she cherished that. So that does kind of go against what, you know, came out through the lawsuit, that all the stress that she was going through, it was like, and the problems with losing weight, she couldn't eat, I believe she experienced hair loss, stuff like that. But from this, it was like, she very much, it was like she had a great time. She cherished the time she spent with Vince. I mean, with the whole thing, could Vince have coerced her? Yes, that's possible, and I'll get into why I think that could be the case, that he coerced her. But again, it's one of these things that, you know, we can't always just jump the gun right away and say, when there's accusations, you know, and say, oh well, that person's 100% guilty, or that person's 100% innocent. I mean, for most of my videos, yes, you'll probably know that I do believe the woman Janel Grant, and I think this stuff, almost all of it, most of it happened. But I did have a video with it, and there was a bit of balance there, and I did say, could Vince be innocent? And I was suggesting that, well, you know, Vince didn't pay all of the you know, he paid $1 million of the $3 million of the, you know, for the non-disclosure agreement. And I said, well, maybe he only paid $1 million because he thought from all the stuff there that, you know, he felt that, you know, that it wasn't entirely fair, that it was like, you know, that in his mind it was a consensual relationship, and it was, maybe even you could say in some weird way in McMahon's mind, it was a loving relationship. But with this though, the letter. The letter, I'm going to go through the letter here. This is from the New York Post. So she says, here we go again, draft 24. Now, the draft 24 thing, that might be her just, you know, that, you know, he had talked her into writing this letter, and she just kept not knowing what the hell to say. But, you know, she was talked into doing this. But I'll continue. Here we go again, draft 24, which is even harder to begin after we spilled our hearts to each other a few nights ago. In some ways, I wonder what's left to say after a beautiful evening like that. And then I realise there's so much more to say to my best friend, my love, and my everything. Is there any way that I can adequately tell you how much my life has changed for the better since we met? How can I put into words how you have filled the void in my heart that I thought would remain empty forever? True love cannot be found where it does exist, nor can true love be hidden where it does exist. It's not something that you find, it's something that finds you. I didn't know who you were the day I met you, but immediately knew that a missing piece had clicked into place the moment I saw your face. I love you straightforwardly, without complexity or pride. I love you because I know no other way than this. But we are so close that when your hand on my leg is my hand. It's weird. Some weird stuff in this letter by the sounds of it already. Your arms wrapped around me are my arms, and when you close your eyes at night, I fall asleep on you. The thought of you makes my day begin. The tune of your laugh makes my heart sing along. Your smiles, your ups, your lows, your brow furrows, your joys, and your woes are second nature to me now, like breathing out and breathing in. Every time I see you and walk into your embrace, I close my eyes and exhale because all is right with the world. There is a light and warmth that you radiate, and when I step into your arms, I am home. I am at peace. I'm the best and most authentic version of myself in your presence. I feel understood, accepted, loved, and appreciated for who I am at my core. You see my heart, you see my soul, and you helped me, the one thing I feared I lost for good, my smile. Nobody else brings that out in me, and then I realised why. There are few people who know the secret of making a heaven here on earth. You are one of those rare people. That sense of heaven is the very thing I want to give back to you. I want nothing more than for you to come home to love and happiness. I want you to feel warmth, joy, music, laughter radiating from your door before you even open it. I want you to walk into the sight of soft twinkle lights from your Christmas tree, the sound of sweet music, the smell, home cooking. I want you to turn the corner and be welcomed joyfully with smiles and arms that are open wide, ready to welcome you and pour you a cream soda or something stronger depending on your day. Just as I consider your heart my home, I want you to feel the excitement that someone who loves and adores you with all her heart is waiting to repay the favour. I'll wrap my arms around you, kiss you sweetly, and sway to the tune of a song that plays just for us. Now, this is real interesting part here. Even though so few people know about us, the most freeing feeling this year came when we got to act like a couple, open freely. When Mickey, Paul, and the chef were around us. So people have been asking, Triple H, his name wasn't mentioned in the lawsuit. Stephanie McMahon, her name was mentioned, and that Stephanie wanted Janel to sit beside her in a board meeting. But Mickey, Paul, I don't know who Mickey is, but Paul, I'm guessing is Paul Levette, the son-in-law. And what a treat it was, as so natural to be us outside of our secret bubble, even if only for a short moment. We must make quite a pair in person, huh? Our love runs deeper than the obvious physical chemistry to a place that can only be considered a spiritual connection. It must be intoxicating, and it carries on. The letter, it's a long one. To be around two people who are this far gone for one another. Whether it's your assistant, chef, and here we go, Brad, that's one of the executives, right? Nick Khan, huh? John Laurinaitis, so we all know about John Laurinaitis, so it looks like, yes, Nick Khan, he damn well knew what was going on between Janel Grant and Vince, or whoever sees us together. I think it's undeniable to them, or anyone who sees us that we're in love with a capital L. Others who think they know you so well must be surprised when they see us act so sweetly together, practically like kids. Our energy is so playful. The carnal component is clearly off the chart between us, but we are equally sweet and funny around each other too. When we are together, it's like nobody else exists. So she's saying that all these people, good few people, you're talking 6, 7, 8 people, you about them as a couple. From the moment I met you, I tried to protect my heart. Sorry, I've lost it here. From the moment I met you, I tried to protect my heart, even though I know I was already feeling hard for you. I wasn't looking for love, I was looking for myself. The person I lost so long ago from trauma, sadness, abuse, and overall kicking me in the ass. I did not anticipate when you opened your door walking into my soulmate like that. Even though I wish I found you earlier, we weren't ready to meet yet. Perhaps you would have appreciated what we have right now. But when the time was right and our paths lined up, those doors opened. And all the obstacles that kept us apart from all those years ago had been removed. The chance for happiness and love appeared, and the adventure started. I know you said that people forget who you are. There are so few people who actually know you for the wonderful, tender, vulnerable heart on your sleeve soul that you really are. It's amazing how you meet thousands of people. They come and they go, and none of them get to know you, much less really touch your heart. And then you meet one person, your life has changed forever. That's for sure. They start a new chapter in your story. You've rewritten my story by simply being in it. You are the one person who gives me the strength, hope, love, and support to overcome the things that were so traumatic in my life. I found the person who really gets me. I've never felt so complete, loved so passionately, and protected so fiercely. Nor have I ever been given as gift as precious as your heart. In the past, I had either put myself in or allowed others to put me in a box that didn't fit, and I hadn't lived my own life as myself for the longest time. I forgot who I was. The void was not only deep and dark, but it hurt. And as strange as it sounds, in meeting you, I felt like I met my soul's own reflection, and that locked up part of me that I'd put away so long ago. I'd always felt like there was something missing that I'd given up on, yet was always seeking. But then I met the person who completed that for me and thought, oh, this is what my heart was searching for. It's almost like you reconnected a wire in my head. And now that I know what happiness, love, and respect are, I can't ever look back. I think I'd miss you even if we'd never met, because somewhere in my memory, perhaps from a different lifetime, I knew you. I loved you, and I'd be searching for that feeling until the day our paths crossed again. There were moments where I wondered if I'd ever find true romantic love ever again, or if I ever experienced it in the first place. If during any of those moments where I dreamt up the perfect person, it wouldn't come close to you. I love that you're the most handsome, radiant, charismatic person in any room. She's really bigging him up here, right? Putting him over, stroking his ego. I love that when you really laugh, it's with your entire face. If every word I said could make you laugh, I talk forever admiring that handsome, heart-shaped face of yours. I love your honesty, your passion for life, your sense of adventure, your eyes with the beautiful kaleidoscope of colours, and your big, beautiful, vulnerable heart. You're the kind of many love songs, or in this case, love letters, are written for. And people don't write love letters about compatibility, shared goals, stimulating conversations, admiration. They write them about the greatest love stories, the crazy, once-in-a-lifetime experiences that change forever in a person. They're written for couples like us. I think there's more to it here, but I'm just going to stop at that. So from this stuff here, near the end, I was starting to think, well, this sounds like maybe, this is what Vince would want to hear, right? That's what I'm kind of picking up from this at the very end, right? So it doesn't fully, I'm not fully on the whole thing of that, this was a genuine love letter. So it is possible that, he did coerce her into writing this, and that, because with this stuff, with all the accusations when it came out with R. Kelly, and there was the whole thing with the documentary Surviving R. Kelly, it came out that R. Kelly, with some of the young girls he had abused, he got them to write these letters and make up all this stuff, this horrible stuff, and claim that, that their parents had abused them or they abandoned them and stuff like that. And it was all this stuff to, I guess, if anything ever happened and he got accused, then he would have that to use against them, And with this, reading this stuff here, I mean, is it possible? It could be possible he very much did coerce him to writing this love letter. This was Christmas Eve, December 2021. But then again, this stuff, I don't know. I mean, didn't say it was January in 2022 where Vince said, well, to Janel Grant, we've got to end it now because it looks like, because he had heard rumblings that, people were talking in the company. He was worried it could become public. And then this came out about him and Janel that that would be it now. Linda would actually publicly, there would be a divorce there. So I don't know. I did have the video, could Vince be innocent? And maybe in some weird way he did think this was a loving relationship. initially maybe he thought it was consensual, but that's not to say that stuff didn't happen there where there was abuse, and there was stuff that happened there in the bloody corporate, in the offices of all places, when people are around working at their desks, and there was stuff going on there with allegedly with Vince, Janelle, and with John Laurinaitis. But going from that there, the letter that they, I'm guessing Paul is Paul Levette, he, you, and then there's Nick's name there, Nick Can, he, you about it. And yeah, I mean, it's an interesting point though that Janel Grant's lawyer came up. This is quite late. This coming out, and maybe there's. I mean, I don't know. Vince always had this in his back pocket, though, the love letter. I mean, he could have dropped that and used that as ammunition earlier on, so why didn't he? I don't know the whole process of when lawyers involved and when this stuff becomes public. I mean, yeah, it is all this stuff, and when things get posted on New York Post or Wall Street Journal, it can become like a game. But it very well could be that she was like, in some weird way, head over heels in love with him. She loved him, but she hated him at the same time, though. So these things could have happened, these horrific things, but at the same time, despite all the abuse, she still had that side of him that loved him, and she couldn't live without him. So it could be a bit of both. I was very much of the mindset before of, well, this doesn't look good at all, and Vince, his legacy could be done, destroyed forever. But then this is maybe a slight plot twist with the whole love letter coming out, and I don't know. Even being a conspiracy theorist about it, is there a potential reason now all of a sudden this is coming out, and it mentions names, it mentions, Nick Can, the guy Brad, is it Brad Gilmore, could be Paul, that very well could be, I'm guessing Paul Levette, the son-in-law, is Vince throwing people under the bus here, but then again, though, if it comes out that, this is like a love letter that she sent, that's going to be used in court, That will be used against Janel Grant in court. That there's no doubt. See, I mean, I'm still more on of the mindset that yes, that this was an abusive relationship, but there can be abusive relationships, but there can still be moments where you do like that person's company. It can become like a toxic relationship, like a Stockholm syndrome type thing. And maybe this is what exactly happened there with with Janelle, with how she was with being with Vince. But who knows now, though? I mean, is the plot even going to thicken more? And this is just now 6 days before WrestleMania. What else could come out after this? It's just going to go on and on. But I mean, I knew that Vince wasn't just going to be quiet forever, and something was going to, he was going to try, and he was going to have to defend himself, and with this, unless, if it's not, him doing what R. Kelly did with some of those victims, then, in court, this is going to be tough for Janel Grant to explain this, but I guess it can be that same thing there where you have that love-hate relationship with somebody, and, and like I said, Stockholm syndrome. This is very much what that could have been. But that's my video for now. So give me your take on this, guys. What do you think on this stuff here with Janel Grant and Vince? Do you believe that it was an abusive relationship, that Vince abused her, there was physical, sexual abuse, or do you think that Janel Grant very much was happy with everything that was going along now, and she's just looking for a big money, a big payday here? But that's my video for now, guys. Thanks a lot. Cheers.